What is going on, everybody? And welcome to another Those Guys You Hate mini-sesh. Tyler, my brother, my friend, my confidant, my comrade. How you feeling this week, brother?
I'm tired, Ryan. How are you?
I didn't expect you to be so real. I'm doing great, man. I've got a lot going on in my life. Our secret job that we never speak about, but somehow we always speak about it, has started back up. Mm-hmm. Things have gotten a little bit more stressful, but I'm going into it swinging. So I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? Everything is good. The show is rolling. And on this week's mini-sesh, where we go back and tell a story from our past, I'm going to finally tell a story that we have referenced 1 million times. And I counted them. That's why we're doing it. We hit the 1 million mark, so I'm going to tell the story. You know what I'm talking about?
I was wondering what that award game show sound was.
Sure. What this confetti is all over the floor, and I just don't know what to do.
What I miss?
Do you know what story I'm going to tell, Tyler? I don't know how you could.
I have no idea.
I'm going to tell the story of that one time I got into a fight. Have you ever been in a fight, Tyler?
No, never.
Really?
Never.
What's the closest that you've ever come to fisticuffs?
To fisticuffs. Well,
yeah, because everybody's been in some sort of a verbal altercation.
Yeah, I was in camp. Probably I was around the age of 14 or so.
What camp?
And I don't know, some kind of summer camp that Mom would send me to. Mama Menendez.
Did it have a theme? She sent me to tennis summer camp for a couple of years in a row, and I'm like, nobody likes this. You don't like this. I don't like this. Who decided this?
No, just one of those camps where you would go and join off with different groups, and you'd go do archery, and then another one would be gymnastics, and then, just all different types of stuff.
Sleepaway camp, or did you?
Yeah, sleepaway camp.
Cool.
And
I don't recall this at all.
Where the fighting almost occurred, where there was just this guy in our cabin who just was a dick.
Every cabin gets assigned a bully.
Yeah, and he was above me, and
in bed or in social stature?
Probably both, but I never thought of social structure back then.
Well, he had the top bunk, so it would suggest he was the alpha.
Now, if I'm alpha, I want bottom bunk. I want closest to the ground as possible. If there's an emergency, you are much closer to dying from the top
That's
bunk.
not true. If there's a fire, heat falls. Do I have that correct? Heat falls. Gravity falls. Anyway, Tyler, I never claimed to be a scientist.
That's a bumper.
The fact that you just put your hand over your face has made me feel very vulnerable.
I kept saying in my brain, laughing in the microphone, I just couldn't make myself.
Yeah, shame overrides the show. I think we've noticed that over 150 episodes.
I couldn't look at you.
Nobody can. So this guy is above you in every way, and
every night when he would climb up into his bunk, he'd put his foot in my face, like right on my cheek, and just dig it in like an asshole.
What?
Yeah, he was a bully.
Wow.
And finally I had it one day, and I knocked his foot aside, and I threw a punch at him, and I hit him.
Sure.
But it wasn't, I was a kid.
Sure. It's a wild haymaker.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I hit him, and he stopped doing it. So that was
that's how you deal with bullies.
It taught me when I was younger that violence solves everything.
Sure.
And if you have any problems, just get violent.
Look at the cavemen. They got it all figured out. They're just doing their thing, and you get sponsored by Geico, and life is good. Now, here's the thing.
What did you just do?
You don't remember the Geico caveman?
Of course I do. How is that a reference to what we're talking about?
If you remember it, and I remember it, we got a show, Tyler. You're just playing active defense against me. I'm trying to back you up here because...
How are you backing me?
And this tells you a little something about the brotherhood kind of entanglement.
I'm so confused.
When you told me about that guy, this imaginary guy that I will never know, I couldn't pick out of a lineup.
20 years ago.
I want to kick the shit out of this kid. He rubbed his foot in your face. I'll beat that kid's ass.
He could be a war veteran and hero and war hero at this point.
Hey, Private Ryan, I'll take your other foot. So here's the thing. I am not a fighter. I never have been. I would like to say that I'm a lover, not a fighter, but that wouldn't be true either. Mm-hmm. I've never been, that's never been my go-to. I've always been a talker. You know what I mean? I've always been able to work out, as you could tell with the way that I am just putting words together here all good. Mm-hmm. You could tell I've always been a talker. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. You seem to make salad the same way you talk, where you just throw things into a bowl
with my mouth
and hope that it sticks.
Yeah. And if your salad sticks, I suggest make a different salad.
It's a great topping.
So
it's a great dressing.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And here is the thing. I've never been much of a fighter, and very rarely have I ever been in a situation where it's ever been even an option. I do remember once as a kid, kind of like what you're describing, I had somebody picking on me and I really got mad. And for the only time that I could really remember in my life, except for this upcoming story, I was ready to fight. and the kid ran from me. Had that kid actually stood up to me, I'm telling you, at that point, I was going to fight. I may have led a completely different life.
Sure.
Maybe I would have fought. Maybe it would have gone well. And I would have thought, I'm going to do this from now on. And it didn't happen. So,
or maybe you would have just unleashed or released that stored anger that you had that I'm sure was already building up at that point. Do you think?
No. Because I could have accrued so much more anger. Anger was never my problem, man. But I just never, I don't know. I had some real fear of fighting. Even if I was the stronger of the two. I don't want to be hurt, and I don't want to hurt people. It's just not who I am. So fighting, never good at it. You know what I have always been good at though, Tyler? Drinking. Drinking has always been my thing.
I mean, it's something we did plenty of not growing up, but something we did plenty of throughout our 20s into our 30s. Are we good at it?
Well,
are you good at it?
I will.
Or are you just well practiced?
I've been dating someone over the last year who's not much of a drinker. Comparatively speaking, I'm great at it. Okay. She's puking all the time. You have many years on her. Right. Tyler, I'm good at it. 10,000 hours. Am I right?
You just put your liver through such a deal. Your kidneys through such a problem.
I can genuinely drink all day long, and throwing up isn't an option. I might feel sick. I might, feel tired. I might say things that I regret, but puking is just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm the best. Here's what happened on this fateful day. The one time that Ryan got into a fight. I'm doing the air quote things with my fingers, audio audience.
He's telling the truth.
Dating a woman at the time. And by that, it's actually my boss at a job. We're dating at a time. And by dating, I mean, we're hanging out after the restaurant closes and we're hooking up at table 41.
Sure.
And we're just drinking all the booze in the place.
Really appreciate you telling me what table not to sit at that place.
Yeah.
It's really nice of you to point that table out and go, hey, whatever you do, don't eat there.
Especially position 4.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that'll be another mini-sesh. And
can't wait.
Yeah, maybe skip that one. So we are just spending time together. We're drinking, we're hooking up. And as you can imagine, that erodes a relationship at that time. Mm-hmm. We meet up at this terrible hole-in-the-wall bar that we go to, hoping not to be seen by the people that we work with. And as you can imagine, it's just not going well. You know who I'm talking about without any names, right?
Of course. And in reference to hoping you don't run into anybody that that is a real problem when going out drinking after work when you work in the restaurant industry, because that's what everybody does in the restaurant industry.
They're good at drinking too. It's not an army of one.
Everybody leaves the restaurant and we just scatter like ants to go find the nearest watering hole.
Because all of you customers have just worn us down.
That's so true.
You are bastards.
That's so true.
I know you're just living your life and you're just trying to be a regular person, but you, the person listening to this, you're a bastard. Sometimes, even if you're paying for a meal, everything's not going to be exactly the way you want it, okay? Just eat your meal and get the fuck out of here.
All right, maybe you would have gone a little bit too far on that one. Yeah.
Fuck you and your mother.
Okay, and he's back, baby.
Yeah, all right, I'm back.
I will say to you, Angie, if you need 4 different things, don't send me 4 different times. Sure. Ask for it all at once.
Does anybody else need honey mustard? Tell me now or forever hold your peace. So we're already arguing before we got there. We've been drinking at the restaurant beforehand,
which always makes things easier.
They do make things easy. It helps you express yourself. You know what I mean?
In a healthy and controlled manner.
You got deep rage and anger issues. Have a drink.
Yeah. Are you talking to me? Because I do, and I will.
Let's just shut this off and let's just talk, Tyler. So I get there to this hole in the wall. Now, we've gone there a bunch because nobody goes there. It's a little bit away. And this is a place that she has hung out in the past. Good looking woman. There are admirers of hers there. Now, I can be jealous, but I don't think that I'm an extremely jealous person. She and I weren't dating. I was seeing other people at the time. I assumed that she was too. There were people there that liked her. And totally okay with it. Not a big deal at all. You do your thing. I'll do my thing. And
we'll be doing our things.
No hard feelings on my side.
Sure.
I don't know that she felt the same way. There was a guy there who very obviously had a crush on her. Now, when I got there, the first couple of times that I had been, she introduced me to this guy and we were casually nice to each other. I could tell that he liked her a little bit. And as I had already stated, not a big deal. I was very friendly to him. I was there having my beer and my tequila and everything was fine. Now, as these meetings kept going, and he very obviously had a problem with drinking, that professionalism started to drop.
As it is wont to do.
And there were little jabs there. He was always there by himself. You could tell that there was some ill will between the two of us. And still, it's all good, man. Like, I see the situation that you're in, and I'm not going to take this personally. What do you think about that?
I agree with it. I think that it's important to understand where somebody is, or if somebody's challenging you as they're getting drunk. Obviously, you have to defend yourself if it calls for it, but there's no reason to go seeking it just because some drunk guy's being an asshole, because there's lots of drunk assholes out there. You can't fight them all.
Well, let me start with this one and I'll work my way down.
They're drunk. They don't feel pain.
No two at a time. No two at a time. Single file line starts here. So I remember, what holiday was it? It was some sort of a bit. I can't even remember what it was. Drinkers will find any reason to drink, right?
Oh, yeah. But we call it a celebration.
Yes.
Yes. We're not drinking. We're celebrating.
I don't care how racist you are. On Cinco de Mayo, everybody's Mexican. Am I right? Pass the sombrero to the left-hand side.
Hola.
Yeah, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day if you have no respect for your liver.
Yeah, or other cultures.
Yeah, I certainly don't. So that's a joke time.
I get it. I get it. You just said it so deadpan.
You say something, I say something. That's the way this goes.
That is how this works.
So I get there to this bar for whatever the reason. There's many more people there than normally were there. That's how I remember it was some sort of a special situation. We're already fighting. I haven't even walked into the place yet.
And that's basically blood in the water.
What do you mean?
See a girl that you like, she's fighting with the guy that she's with. So now you see an opportunity if you're a guy at the bar.
If you're an asshole, I mean,
that's what I assume we're talking about here, Ryan.
It seems as though we are. I guess I could be flirtatious or whatever, but I don't want to be the reason anybody breaks up. I don't want to be the reason that something goes wrong for somebody.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Just a couple comes into the bar and you can tell they're at odds.
Yeah.
So then you see, oh, maybe this guy will leave. She'll be left alone, and I can go make my move. That's what I mean. You're basically being watched the entire time you're in there.
Absolutely. Well, in this scenario, that wasn't even the case because I haven't even come into the place yet. Okay. I'm outside. She's already been there drinking. She comes out. Mm-hmm. Now, this will tell you when a relationship is in a bad place. Have you ever been in a relationship and you're fooling around, you're hooking up, and you get into a fight in the middle of sex?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is when we all need, if you're getting into a fight in the middle of sex, perhaps there is a circumstance where it would make sense. Perhaps there's a circumstance where you can have a good relationship and get into a fight in the middle of sex. I've just never experienced that.
If a boundary is pushed maybe, and then they keep pushing it, something like that. But if it is a common occurrence or something that happens more often than not, that's a problem.
But wait a minute. And now I'm just splitting hairs.
Sure.
If you kind of like a taxidermist, right? Splitting hairs. I'm sorry that my brain works this way. So you said that if you're in a good relationship and somebody keeps pushing boundaries, is that a good relationship?
No, I don't mean keeps doing it as in this is a history of this.
Over and over.
Maybe you're in a relationship and they want to try something new.
Just let me put it in there one time. See if you love it.
That's what we're talking about right there. That's what we're talking about.
For all the people out there, just let them try.
You know what I'm talking about.
Let them try. Try everything 5 times. You don't know if you'll like it.
And maybe that person acts instinctually and gets angry.
Right.
It's understandable, something like that. But
in that intimate time, and what you're saying is totally right and totally human. In that intimate time, let's try to avoid anger. Communication is at its paramount when we're naked.
I just like giving, off ramps. I don't like absolutes as much as possible, as much as I can.
All the time, absolutes are bad. So I'm outside, we're hooking up, and something happens. I don't recall what it was in the car. I mean, there's people all over the place. I'm a wild man. And we're hooking up. Something goes wrong, and we start fighting. Okay.
Sure.
So I
have to be of service to the audience here, and I have to say something goes wrong.
I don't even recall. There's such, I was going to say animus between us. I don't know if I have that vocabulary word right. There's such friction between us.
Sure.
That
the sex isn't even covering it up anymore.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And I can use sex to cover up a lot. I can use sex to cover up a dead body if necessary.
What?
I necrophilia. So we are now, I shut the door. I am now standing up with my back against my car, because here's the deal.
Pouting.
And maybe,
pouting. You're describing pouting.
I'm not even pouting. I just recognize in this moment, this person whom I love as a friend, I don't care about you in this way.
Yeah.
This isn't even doing it for me anymore, man. Like, I'm just angry at the situation. I'm angry at my life. I'm angry at myself. I'm just, and I haven't even put a finger on it yet. That's pre-transition,
I was going to say, close to awareness. You're like on the verge of awareness at that point.
Well, this is after Tori and Gabby had already passed away. I was on my...
Our brother and sister.
I'm already... Which was the turning point,
the catalyst
in my life,
sure, where
I went from that to where I am now. And man, I wish I could go back. Thanks a lot, you guys. I mean,
real selfish of
the
you.
meanest prank, the meanest prank that you guys ever played.
Love you guys.
So, I do. I miss you guys very much. Just kidding. They would laugh about this. I hope.
Absolutely.
See you in hell. So
why? Why?
I'm uncomfortable with
definitely not in hell.
Well, at least come and visit. I mean, so I'm standing up against my car and I'm just mad, man. There's so many times in my life that I just had this blinding anger and the reason is sitting right there in front of me and I can't acknowledge it. I'm just not ready to take it on yet.
It's terrifying.
And I'm sure that I still have those moments. I'm sure that I still have those blind spots. I don't mean to speak of it as if I'm this enlightened being. I'm just, I've traveled further. You know what I mean? So I'm there and we're fighting and all of a sudden a taxi pulls up and out shambles, not unlike an extra from The Walking Dead, is this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, now normally I am, even while drunk, I don't take I do take myself too seriously, but not in a machismo way. Not in I'm going to beat you up, but whatever. So even when that stuff is happening, no big deal. This guy gets out and basically like somebody poured him out of a bucket. Okay, he splashes onto the scene. Maybe about 10.
Hey, Boneless, you okay?
Yeah, I got boneless chicken wing over here. And he, like an ooze, just transmogrifies to right in front of us. Okay, now the moment that I see him, I'm already angry and I flipped, you know what I mean? Like now this guy kind of shuffles on over to where we are and she and I are face to face. I know she can sense this is about to take a turn.
The energy has shifted.
Absolutely. And it just kind of like Sammy Davis Jr. just kind of shuffled out over. And before he could even say a word, without even looking at him, he's to my left. She's directly in front of me. I continue to look at her and I put my hand in front of him and I don't even look at him. And I go, not today, bro.
Yeah.
Don't even bring that over here.
No matter how you feel, maybe not the best way to get a conversation started for the day.
No, and he's hammered. He's hammered like he's
Which
not
doesn't
even,
make the situation better.
No. The last 2 or 3 times that this has happened, it's built and built and built. And the last time I think I recall talking to him, I was just laughing at how ridiculous this has become.
But it builds to animosity between the two of you.
Sure, but like I said, had this been my girlfriend or somebody that I genuinely cared about, if I could have at that time, perhaps I would have taken it personally. But even in the last couple of times, she and I were just laughing at like how cartoonish this has become.
Sure.
This point, not laughing.
Yeah.
And I say, bro, not today, man. Turn around, get the fuck out of here, man. Today is not the day. And my vibe is just not to be bleeped with.
Yeah. Where it's almost palpable, like in the air, where you can like taste it.
And dude, you know me, man. I am not, perhaps I'm confrontational at certain times. I'm not physically confrontational. When I'm in that zone, it emanates off me. It radiates.
Well, and when adrenaline kicks in, the way that our bodies heat up, it becomes like a flare in the dark, you know?
Sure. Now, this guy, he has drank so much that his signal receiving has dropped to the floor.
Yeah.
Let me try that again.
Yep.
Ooh.
I didn't want to watch that. That's hard in my memory.
Those hard-boiled eggs, man. His signal receiving has dropped substantially. And he just keeps going. Whatever he said. And I'm like, brother, again, I'm just here making myself sound like a tough guy. I'm just letting him know.
What'd you say, Ryan?
I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Tell him what you said.
I'm going to eat your liver. No, I didn't want your liver. So, but this guy just keeps going and he just keeps going.
Yeah.
So
I think you'll die if you eat somebody's liver outright.
he gets up close to my face. And I'm telling him, I'm begging you, bro, don't do this, whatever. He gets up into my face. I don't even remember why. I don't know how. And even in that moment.
Well, he blobbed his way up. He just propped himself up on the rest of his blob.
I wish you were old enough to remember the show, The Secret World of Alex Mack.
Of course I remember.
Do you remember that?
The way she would turn the silver blob.
Into like mercury.
Yeah. I do remember that.
Tyler, good on you.
Yeah, okay. That was Nickelodeon, baby.
Alex Macked his way to right in my face.
You're giving him a lot of credit because that was cool.
Side note, I was in love with Alex Mack as a child.
She was awesome.
I thought she was beautiful. I was her and Jessica Biel from Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
As a kid, not now. Gross. So he gets up to my face, and even in this high pitch, just frustration, I say, I'm begging you to get the fuck out of here and go back into that bar where you live. He won't do it. So I don't punch him. I've never punched anybody in the face to this day. Big regret of mine.
Yeah. You got to get that out.
Launch him. I push him so hard that I launch him into the stratosphere. I mean, he tumbles. He tumbles like a gymnast on their first day on the job, man.
Again, got to point at adrenaline. I mean, it is the things you can do with adrenaline running through your body, you become superhuman.
I launched him.
Yeah.
Hits the floor, barrel rolls. Feels like this is not the first time that he's ever done it. Okay, now
hup.
Now it's like Cirque du Soleil, bro. Where's this Beatles music coming from? Hits the ground, winds up on all fours.
Yeah.
For all you yoga masters out there, he's in the tabletop position.
Yeah. For all you dirty bastards out there, he's about to get doggy style.
Yeah, he is doggy. He's ready to be doggy styled. It's a leany tabletop, but he's up there. I don't think that he's totally.
It's an old dog. She can't keep himself up.
He got the energy going up the front, but it's not coming down the back. Drooling. He's in bad shape here, but keeps talking shit, bro. Keeps talking shit. It's almost like one of those things in like, Fight Club where somebody almost like, I know we're not supposed to talk about this, but where they just
get us killed, bro.
Hey, this has been a Tyler burden on my soul. Where he's like drooling, but he almost is enjoying this. It feels like I deserve this subconsciously.
I
you know what
bet
I mean?
you that's what was going on to a certain extent.
Keeps talking shit, and here is where my shame comes in. Not in the fighting, not in losing my cool or whatever. This is a low class P-word move. Talking shit, continuing to blah, blah, blah. And I am now, that's the furthest I've ever gone in a fight, which is, whatever. This guy is now on all fours. Not unlike a punter in the NFL, I kick him in the ribs, Tyler.
Sure.
Hard.
Ooh.
Wait, would it be a punter? I think it'd be a place kicker because that punter holds the ball. I didn't pick him up.
Either way.
And that is a weak move. You can't do that. That's like punching somebody from behind. Not appropriate.
And you could kill somebody like that.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
Drunk Ryan, not a doctor.
Yeah. Also not, Bruce Lee. You're not calculating your kick in order to make sure you spare his life and or kill him.
Just full rage.
Full rage.
Full rage.
No specific area in mind. I'm just unleashing this on you.
Well, if I had done it in the ass, it would have been more humanitarian of me, but I don't think it would have had the same effect.
Nah, probably not.
I kicked him hard, Tyler.
Yeah, sure.
When he moved afterwards, it sounded like somebody jingling their keys.
Oh my God.
No, I'm sorry. Speaking of car keys,
that can't be true.
That's another mini-sesh. So
it is not.
So he is deeply hurt. And now, this woman and I have snapped out of our situation, and now we're dealing with this situation, right?
Adrenaline can only focus really on one situation at a time.
I can't be spread this thin.
And something has now overtaken this thing that doesn't, as you said earlier, doesn't really mean that much to you.
Sure. And I'm very accustomed to you and I arguing, this is a new one for me. I'm going to give this my attention if you don't mind. So I now go back to her and as I stated many times, not just on this mini sesh, but on the show, I'm not a fighter, man. I'm not a violent person. Anytime I've ever hurt somebody in my life, it's been verbally. I don't want to hurt people physically. And I am a mess. And this guy, while I'm dealing with her, he kind of army crawls / rolls his way over to a park bench. You know what I mean? Not a park bench, but they have little places to sit out front of the bar for people who smoke.
Sure.
So I go over to him and he's crumbled and he's hurt. And it looks almost like this is something that he has experienced before. I would imagine this is not his first rodeo, Tyler. So I go over to him, and this is my first rodeo, and I am crying. I am genuinely crying because this feels wrong. I've committed all sorts of terrible acts on people, but not like this. This is too real.
Yeah, and you were kind of pressured into it.
Absolutely. I didn't want to fight. Even in my drunkenness, I was begging you not to fight, and I'm crying, and I'm like, why did you do this? I told you not to do this. What is your problem? And he looks up at me, and he's just got blood in his mouth and all that stuff. And he looks up at me almost as like a badge of honor. And he looks at me and he's like, I don't even remember who you are, bro.
Yeah.
And that is the time that this guy died of cirrhosis. I imagine. I can't imagine that guy lived much longer than that.
Nah, if you're drinking to that extent, it's a crash course in prolonged suicide.
How do you fix that? How do people end up in that, I guess, just chasing your own comfort? How does that happen to somebody?
The habitual side of it, where you've been doing it for so long and now is just your day to day, and whatever the trauma is that you're running from, and that you're medicating, is just, you have to make a decision to want to not feel that way anymore. And there's a lot of people out there, maybe like this guy, who doesn't even realize that that's an option anymore.
Or who just doesn't feel like they have the strength. I mean,
sure.
Kind of
like giving
up what you and I were talking about. To do this, it doesn't just take strength. It takes consistency. And when I say this, I mean, try to better yourself and to take on the things that you're medicating yourself to try to forget.
And just the want to do it. The want overall to do it. Not whether you feel like you have the energy or not, it's coming to the decision of, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a hard decision to make.
It truly is. And I would say the second hardest thing that I have ever done in my life is deciding to take on that pain and to go through the trauma. And honestly, it damn near kills me every day. But the only thing that was harder was not doing it. Yeah. So it's
yeah, and it's suffering and
it's a real Schrodinger suicide, Tyler.
Well, it's suffering and getting better as you heal, or suffering and getting worse as you ignore it again and again and again.
As you just every single day try to escape the pain. Yep. So this is I will tell you, just as a way of virtue signaling and really just showing my journey and my change, I genuinely pray to God that guy is okay and that he didn't die and that I don't have to go to jail at some point.
He's probably not.
And he's probably not.
But it's tough with that kind of drinking.
I hope that he is. I hope that
sure.
that there was some sort of a point in his life where he stepped away and said, what am I doing here? I truly hope that for that one drunk dude that I probably killed and don't know his name.
Yeah. But maybe you solved this problem for him. Maybe you kicked him so hard, it rattled the addiction out of his head.
You know what? Maybe he had one evil rib and I rid him of that and a couple extra just to be sure.
They might be infected.
You guys have been hanging out a little too long. I'm going to have to take all of you.
Well, and that is the time Ryan kicked in somebody's ribs for a semi-good cause.
That's the one time Ryan fought. And I'm looking for my reprisal. Anybody else out there who wants to step up?
Well, that's the thing. Now you've put your story out there. Now you're going to be famous based on this story, much like Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan. You're going to have people step up to you, man. Sure. You're in trouble.
Sure. Do you know any tough guys that aren't Asian, Tyler? I don't know. You just mentioned two from
because those are super famous. Is there any white, black, or Native American or anybody?
UFC fighters, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really
Mike
good
Tyson
example.
We have seen recently shan't be fucked with.
But that was just somebody being an asshole. He wasn't actually trying to fist fight him.
Aren't all of those people just trying to be an asshole?
That's a good question.
There you go.
I don't know.
Tyler, great job. Bearing our soul as usual. If this helps anybody out there, it would bring me the utmost pleasure because we've made some mistakes. Hopefully you guys can learn from them.
And if it doesn't, hopefully you're laughing.
We'll kick your fucking ribs in.
He'll do it.
Where are those guys you hate?
Be kind or we'll kill you.
We love you. We're totally kidding. We promote
Be kind or we'll kill you.
Starting with the ribs.
And red circle.
Wow. How about that? Almost knocked over my whole shabazzle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see you as somebody who uses a lot of emojis. Do I have that correct?
No, it's a rare occasion when I use an emoji.
Describe such occasion, if you don't mind, for the listening audience.
If I think it's going to be funny because of how little I use them, they kind of stand out when I do. So if I think it'll make a comedic impact when I use it, then I will.
Comedic impact is what I call my sex life. I have just recently.
Were you just waiting for me to finish up talking, knowing you weren't going to respond to what I said?
It was one of the last couple things that you said.
You were going to drop in your thing and then just go on to what you were saying. Is that what we're doing?
Drop in my thing is what I call my sex life. I was responding to what you said. I'm sorry it wasn't the script that you had in mind, Tyler. So sorry. I have recently been using more emojis. Man, there's a lot going on in between us.
Ryan's having trouble with his equipment.
Oh, no.
That is not a penis joke.
Thinking about our sexual tension. I have started using a lot more emojis dating somebody much younger than I. It's all the rage, Tyler.
It'll catch on in terms of your personal preference. It's easy to understand why you would have adopted that. So
sure. And it is useful. And it is something that I do often. I'm like, I send something and I'm like, is this ridiculous? Is this, but
I'm sure with you, the answer is usually yes.
Always yes.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I've never used the eggplant emoji in that way. I don't know if it's because it's so pervasive in society, but it's not like I'm fighting the mainstream dick jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can I use it as a joke? Or if I send an eggplant, does that mean I actually have to have sex with you now? Is that how the rules are?
Even if it's you hit the wrong button.
A typo?
We now, I like, as your brother, I see it and I'm like, damn it, Tyler.
Not again.
How many is that the only button you have? What's going on with you, buddy? No depression index this week, so get it off your chest.
What do you mean no depression index this week?
This is a mini-sesh, so.
Oh, well, I can just bottle up my emotions and then let them all out later on.
Please do.
Like I've been doing over the course of my life.
By sending me an eggplant emoji.
That'll just make me sadder. I'm okay. I'm in a daze, Ryan. Still doing the daze thing. I don't know. It's been this weird feeling. I feel like I still have apathy while also
getting shit done.
It's very strange.
Well, the deal is, and I think from the outside looking in, you seem to be doing great. Not in terms of you're skipping around the house, wearing one of those flower crowns from Coachella. But
Mine's falling apart.
I see you getting stuff done, like you said. And I think very often with that, it's not the feeling of wanting to do it. Like you think you look at other people and you're like, damn, bro, they just love doing what they do. That might not be the case. They just do it. It's doing it even in face of the apathy.
Definitely. And the fact of the matter is you couldn't have said it any better. It doesn't matter how I feel. It's just what is the outcome?
What's necessary?
And the outcome is that I'm getting shit done. So
I think what you're describing is just wisdom. It's not doing something because I feel like it in the moment. It's because I don't want my boss to yell at me.
Yeah, that's true. But I also, I'm just tapping into something, this, I don't want to say hidden, but just this,
like Waldo,
this willpower that not like Waldo,
like Waldo power,
not like Waldo power. No,
his full name is Waldo Power.
Just this discipline that I never had,
sure,
but was always there for me to access.
You've always had it. You just haven't used it.
Didn't use it. Didn't know it was there.
Tyler, words are very powerful.
Shut the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's I said to you.
I said it to you.
I said it to you.
Prove it. Play the recording.
In a real moment, and you just said it over the air all flippy dippy.
There are no real moments, Tyler. It just shows that we haven't recorded. A little warm up. But you know what I find?
Are we actually brothers? Are we family?
I'm your brother.
Not a response to
think that what it is that I've found so many times we're going through what I think you're going through right now. You're just so tired of what you've been accustomed to. So you start doing something else and it feels great for 2 days, 3 days, maybe even a week. And then you get into the monotony of doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And you wonder, is this all that there is? Is this even worth it? Like this sucks too. You know what I mean? And then you'll go back to what you normally do. I think growing up is putting one foot in front of the other and being like, hey, this isn't perfect, but it's better than what I was doing. So I'm going to keep on this track, even though I don't feel like it. I think sometimes people want immediate response, and that's not the way it is. It's like you said, it's just growing your discipline.
If Facebook is instant gratification, why can't the rest of life be, Ryan?
Is Facebook instant gratification? I don't get the reference.
Just a dopamine hit whenever you get that like. That's what the whole thing is set up on.
Sure. Social media.
Yeah.
Probably not good. We should mention that on the show sometime.
Social media not good?
Yeah.
Oh, but while also asking everybody to sign up on our social media and whatnot.
It's kind of like the best gift is giving. If somebody needs to be the receiver, which as we've specified is the hardest part. So
that would be the same argument that herpes as a virus would use.
And glitter as an arts and crafts medium.
There you go.
Let's go on with the show. That's it. I think that was it.